I guess the biggest thing that I wanted to learn was a way to sort of how to market our geospatial services. My name's Andrea O'Malley. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Caltech Group. We're a land surveying, geospatial, and GIS company out of Western Canada.
Yeah, and you're quite big as well, aren't you? Quite a decent size.
Yeah, we've grown dramatically within the past year. So we're up to 225 employees across Canada. So it's
Yeah.
exciting times.
It's definitely exciting times. So
Yeah.
let's begin your GMA journey. I know you're just at the beginning, so you're starting, and there's been lots of change in your business. So that's also very exciting. But I just want to dive in. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what you experienced before you actually started with GMA?
Yeah, so I guess before we started GMA, I just had I have a marketing degree. And then so we did a rebrand last year and we sort of broke our services into traditional land surveying, geospatial, and GIS. So I started doing the GMA program to sort of start know how to market our geospatial department and their different services because it's not a regulatory requirement, it's sort of a solution-focused service.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And when you came across GMA, then what were some of your thoughts, fears, aspirations, desires, that sort of thing? What did you think?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely heard about you, Elaine. So you've been in the industry, like you just taken over. So that's really exciting. I guess my fear was that it was going to be like just another sort of marketing course, right? And then my desire was to sort of, fix it all, right? Like have this one step process, which it did turn into, to sort of market our geospatial services. So
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So that's interesting. So with the GMA, I suppose we could probe a little bit further on that one though. But like your fear was like, oh God, it's another course. It's another course.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that were surprising about it initially?
About the program?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was surprising because I thought it would sort of just be like this is how you market geospatial tools and like the solutions and everything, right? But you started off building the foundation of like a brand, right? And what that stands for. And that was really nice to see because we had done so much work at Caltech like past years just through our rebrand. So it was good to see that, okay, yes, we're on the right track. Like we've already done the leg of this work. Now we can sort of continue and then continue to drive that new brand home.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so
Yeah.
what were some of the most important things you hope to learn from the course? And I know you're still in it, so it's like
Yeah.
developing.
Right. Right. I guess the thing that I learned the most was, I learned so much about the geospatial world because when you're talking to the experts, like the technical experts in-house, they talk a lot about the tools and sometimes it feels very complicated. But
Mm.
then you got to think like that's how the client feels, right? So how can I sort of be the middle person and just simplify it enough? And it was really good because through the GMA program, it allowed us to sort of evaluate and really niche down on who we're targeting, what challenges they come to our team with, and then what are some of the solutions that we provide for the different sectors that we service. So that
Yeah,
was really good because I could take that knowledge from the course with your credibility and then sort of bring that to the team.
yeah. Okay. And what was some of
Yeah.
the sort of feedback from that, the initial stages?
It was good. Like as soon as you sort of phrase it like that, they're like, okay, but you really have to like grill down on them and just be like, okay, well, what was the solution? Is there anything like we don't want to talk about the tools or the equipment that we used, right? Like they don't, I know you're really excited about that, but the client isn't as excited or I'm not as excited, right? So we want to be like, a trusted advisor, right? So it's like, what are they coming to us for? And then what are we providing? And
Yeah,
how can we market that in a fun way?
absolutely. But it's the same thing like your iPhone, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
really care how it works. I just want it to
no,
do its job. Like,
exactly. Right. So then when you sort of turn it like that, then like our technical experts were like, yeah, like, do they come to you and was like, I want this to be laser scanned or I want this to,
yeah,
use this type of equipment? No, it's they come to you with a challenge. You go into your toolbox and then you pick the appropriate tool based on the deliverable that they need and you complete it in the most time efficient, cost efficient way.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
but it's getting them to think about that in that way.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So what have you achieved so far that sticks out?
What's really stuck out is some of the content that we've produced is just, it's more niche down, right? So like before on our website, we would just have like geospatial services, right? For instance, right? But now we've sort of just simplified it in a way for the solution, provided samples of the deliverable through video, and then also displayed the process, right? Like what does the process look like when we do laser scan something? So in a simplified form that the client can understand and future geospatialers, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now this is the big one. Time management is always a big thing. We know everybody's like, oh, I haven't got any time. How have you managed the course to date and your time?
When I started the program, I was a few months back from coming back from maternity leave. So luckily my son was still sleeping at night. So I worked during the day and then sort of take some of the courses at night. And then also I would put in a couple hours during the day at work. So it has taken me, when I first started, I was like, oh yeah, I'll get this done in like a few months. And then realization hit. So it's taken me a long time, but as I sort of worked through the program and able to implement some of the things, which I think was even more beneficial than just zooming through it. So
what did you expect to gain from learning the curriculum?
I guess the biggest thing that I wanted to learn was a way to sort of how to market our geospatial services, right? So they don't come off as super complicated to the user, right? And so that they can recognize it that, oh, this is the problem that I'm having, and this is the solution that Caltech can provide.
How was your learning? What's your learning type?
Oh, my learning type is definitely like hands-on, which is really nice because the program sort of allows you to sort of do that, right? It gives you the tools. It doesn't just say, you need to, do an email campaign or something, but you sort of provide the tools, right? And the channels that you're going to see the most benefit on.
Yeah. Okay. And what did you think of the lessons?
The lessons were really
of the lessons.
Yeah, let's not jump ahead, right? The lessons are really good. Like they're very knowledgeable. They're short, which is nice because when you look at something, you're like, oh, it's 3 hours long. Like that comes as daunting, right? And so sometimes you don't start it. So some of them are 20 minutes, some of them are 15 minutes, some are 45 minutes. So it's nice because you can sort of break it down. And then it's almost like, oh, okay, I have, 15 minutes to spare in my day. I'll go through this module. And then you get excited. And then you're like, oh, okay, we just one more module, right? So then it's encouraging and it's inspiring to sort of go through them. So the best lessons that I found were definitely the content marketing. It was one of the biggest ones, but I walked away with the most gain of knowledge. And then also the last one, I sort of skipped ahead to the last one for the sales process, right? So how does this all fit in to sales and the rest of the team, right? Like, why are we doing all of this? Where does it go? Where do I take it, right? So that was nice, especially because there's lots of great visuals in the program that you can just sort of snip out and just take to your team, be like, this is what we're doing, right? So
okay, cool. So you've used that as actually backup to show your guys.
Yeah, so it's good, right? So it's just like, it's a concrete funnel where it's like, okay, like this is what marketing is, and this is sort of what we're doing, and this is the next stage, right? So
okay, what was your biggest aha moment?
Our biggest aha moment, probably going back to like the niching down on the target audience, right? And just being like, we really need to niche down and not just, and also sort of going back to not just selling the tools or like the services that we sort of do, but why we're doing this and how it benefits the client, right? So instead of just saying like, we do geospatial services or we do laser scanning, it's like, why do they need that in their day-to-day? Like, why do they need to switch up their day-to-day to sort of use us, right? It's because of the different solutions that our tools can provide.
Do you want to just give me a little bit of an insight into some of the results that you've actually seen with the last few months of doing GMA?
Yeah, so I would say like a few months back, right, we would have typically maybe about 300 people coming to our website on a weekly basis. And now it's sort of gone up to like, it's around the steady mark of 450 people. So I think that's through the efforts of the concentrated content, and also on our social media, just linking people to our website, right? So driving them through that process that you sort of hit home in the GMA, right? So it's not just, you don't just put a post up, but why are we putting this post up? What do we want them to do, right? So
moving forwards then, for the next section, what are some of the things that you think you'll probably change or do to actually improve that lead generation?
definitely try and make it gated, right? So it's like a landing page and
Yeah.
sort of make it more, I guess like exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So that people want it.
Would you say you have more direction now?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like this like proof that, because especially because you've niched down on an audience, right? Like people in this, the geospatial survey world, right? So it's like, that this works. So we can translate our marketing efforts and, the previous knowledge that I have and then just work it through. So yeah, more of a.
There is so much noise out there, and it's like keeping your brand above that noise level, but also being very specific to that customer. It's that two-tier thing that you've got to push.
Yes, and knowing what works and doesn't work, right? Like you've sort of filtered that out already, so that's really nice. You can just sort of, use the course and then just move forward with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Just
have you got any examples of how and what GMA has helped you achieve in the business?
Oh, yes. I think the biggest thing is just sort of realizing that we do need to market, like we do need to use more of a marketing force for these certain services.
Yeah.
And also not just marketing the tools and the equipment, right? Like market the solution that we're providing, right? Like what benefits the client at the end of the day.
What would you say is GMA's worth to you as a business?
Oh, I think it's like right now, I think it's sort of like, I don't want to say like invaluable, but like it's very beneficial, right? Because it's made us sort of think differently about how we approach our clients and different, the problems that we're solving, and then also who we're solving those targets, those problems for.
So would you recommend this to other survey and equipment manufacturers?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I definitely would. So just because it is like, because you've done all the legwork, right? And you know who your audience is and who this process works for, right? So like you said, there's a lot of noise out there, especially in marketing, right? Like you get out there, you just like, everything is marketing when you think about it, right? But it's just what's actually going to work and what's going to bring in qualified leads for your business.
Yeah. Okay. And what advice would you say to someone looking for help with their marketing?
Oh, I would say, do you really know who you're going after? And do you have a proven, do you have a process in place, right? So, and do you have a team that can support you, right? Like for us, I couldn't do my job without the technical staff, right? Yeah. So sort of funneling it through.